Well, hello. We are here, day 3, C-Suite Network, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. So happy that you're here. And we get the great privilege to have our day 3. And our day 3 is very, very powerful. This is of our back to school Biz Bootcamp. 12 days, 27 minutes a day. We get in and we get out with great connection, knowledge, new ideas, new strategies. So here we go. Day 3, powerful listening for client connection. Isn't that what we really are looking for? Especially, post-pandemic, looking for connection with other people, and people are looking for connection with us. So that's our topic for today, inspired by what I'm hearing out in the world, longing for connection. So I am Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Networks, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, and the Women's Success Accelerator, the marvelous year-long program to support women coaches and consultants to start, grow, and monetize their successful business. So very, very happy to be here. And, for the last 2 days, we've been back to school, and that excitement of going back to school, really fun. And I firmly believe that knowledge, the key to all of this is knowledge empowers you. Of course, knowledge empowering us is so critical, but also taking action. So we've been taking action each day. And that's why I love 12 days, 27 minutes a day. And, bring your lunch, bring your breakfast, wherever you are. And we're having powerful conversations about important keys to success. So day 1 and day 2, very quickly, we were talking about what's your big why for you in your business? What's your big why for your career? Why is it that you're doing what you're doing? And day 2 was all about what's your big why for your clients in your community. What are your dreams and your hopes and your wishes for them? What a novel concept that people are actually standing for others with something that is bold. And I just came up with this acronym for BIG: bold, indulgent, and generous. What a great, great concept, and what a great idea, and what a great way to run our business and our life is being bold with ourselves, and also being big and bold with our community, our vision for what's possible in the world. Wow, that's a visionary thought leader. So today's topic is all about communication and listening. And we're going to have a very powerful conversation here. Sarah, so glad that you're on. We've got other ladies joining us. Very, very good. And one of my co-authors in Blueprint for Success, Stephen R. Covey, what a fabulous thought leader he was. And his legacy continues through the habits of highly successful people. And through this book, it was just a tremendous book, and it was the 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. One of the key things that really stood out to me is seek first to understand, then to be understood. So to understand the other person, rather than trying to get in there and have our point of view, forced upon somebody else, to really understand first and to create that heart-centered connection. And so, I'd like to pause here for a moment and just love to get your voice in here, Sarah. What for you is important around seeking first to understand and then to be understood, to create that heart-centered, head-centered soul connection with the other person? Because I know that's who you are in the world. Your thoughts, your perspectives?
What comes to mind first is understanding how to become more kind within self.
Nice.
And then that kindness towards others so that we can care to understand. To me, that's the golden word. Because if we don't care, it's very hard just to ask someone to understand each other. It doesn't work. You have to relate it to something that they care about.
How thoughtful. Thank you very much. That's really, really beautiful. And, for all of you watching our rebroadcast, we know we've got a lot of visitors that are going to be watching this wonderful broadcast. Be sure to connect with Sarah Kenny. She's on LinkedIn, and connect with her and reach out to her for business opportunities, client opportunities, and collaboration, co-acceleration opportunities. Be sure to connect with Sarah. She is a gem. So thank you. Yes. Love what you said, care. Yeah, yeah. And I'm wondering, Sarah, what would the world be like if we had more caring in the world?
Because caring comes from gratitude, being grateful,
Yeah.
and actually physically and non-physical applications of it on a regular basis
Yeah.
instills that caring model. And what it would mean to us in the world is contentment, more contentment to the individual and to our planet,
Yeah.
so that there's less conflict and more peace.
Ah, beautiful, beautiful.
Most importantly, with the topic at hand is understanding.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Wow. And everything that you said with care, understanding, less conflict. And I'm also hearing connection with other people and, gratitude. These are such important topics, folks. Oh my goodness gracious. Sarah, I'd be willing to bet nobody is talking about this today on our broadcast, or on other broadcasts. We've got a world full of conflict, which is the antithesis to caring and listening and really connecting with other people. So thank you for bringing this into our conversation today. Thank you. Beautiful. Yeah. So folks, this is an important topic. And now more than ever, those that really listen, and I want to talk with you about, an important concept called triplex listening. Triplex listening. And I love triplex listening because we're listening with our ears, we're hearing, we're also listening with our head and our brain. And most importantly, we're listening with our heart. So I think triplex listening is the most powerful listening. And, it takes practice. It really takes practice because I don't know that we're necessarily wired over time. I think we're wired for listening for what we want to say next. But triplex listening, I believe it really starts with it's skill-based plus commitment-based. Starts with an intention to connect with the other person and to really seek harmony, seek to understand versus being understood right away. And I also think that triplex listening starts with new habits. I know I've got to break old habits, multitasking, listening with one ear, kind of listening for my particular point of view, listening for where the other person could be right or wrong, or listening for what I'm going to say next. And I think Zoom is so challenging for this because we're doing a lot of things at the same time. So I so appreciate when people come on broadcasts and they actually turn their video on and they're engaged. Thank you, Sarah. You're always engaged. It's really powerful. So is there anything that really stands out for you when it comes to triplex listening? Because we'll talk about the specifics of it, but it takes skill, commitment, starts with an intention to want to connect. And, the habits part of it, starting new habits, breaking new habits. Anything that comes to mind, Sarah, in this slide?
Absolutely. As we all suffered, with COVID, coming out from that and during, and having my own issues with anxieties.
Yes.
I knew loneliness was a problem. If I don't reconnect to society, to the people, it hinders my resiliency as a whole. So the intention was an important factor to really utilize gratitude practice while I was going through those transitions to get out of that mindset and to reach out and extend myself instead of contracting. I needed to extend and expand. So the habits, of course, are part of practice. And the best formula I always say to my friends and family in community is physically actually acknowledge someone.
Oh, yes.
Did something for you. Even, hey, your hair looks beautiful today. Acknowledge that. Just that's a form of gratitude. And it's so simple, and it starts to form those meaningful relationships that just grow. And then you learn to understand and respect each other through difference in time.
Well, you just dropped so many truth bombs there, Sarah Kinney. You really did. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Really brilliant. And, thank you for that. That was, wow. There was a lot to unpack there. And, again, back to what you originally spoke about and shared about caring and really demonstrating care for other people and of course for ourselves through this whole, this life journey that we're on. So thank you very much. Excellent. Excellent. Good. And when you're watching the broadcast, I know you're writing down notes and thinking about how you can incorporate more care and regard and how you can acknowledge and appreciate other people, just as Sarah was saying. So really important. Yes. So the logistics of triplex listening, I believe, are just three things. In our communication, we're listening for data points. We're listening for, the things that the person is saying, information that they're sharing, maybe some facts that they're sharing, some things that they have a particular point of view about, number one. So we're listening for that. Number two, I believe we're also listening, this triplex listening, we're listening for emotions and feelings. Where's the passion in the person's sharing? What are they really like jazzed about? And then number three, what's really important to them? You can really get a sense through their emotions, their feelings, and their facts, like what are the words that they're using and what's the passion in which that they're using these words. And so through this, really tapping into, now this is challenging, because we've got to be over there with them as opposed to over here in our head. And so, listening for data, listening for facts, listening for information, but also the emotion, the feelings, the words they're using. Why are they using this words? And then what's important to them. So with that, love to practice. And so, for all of us to practice this, and, we've got a few minutes, Sarah, we could do a little practicing of this and maybe share for a minute, and I'll share something and you could share something, and we can use this beautiful model of, what's the data that's being shared, what are the emotions and the feelings, and what's important to the person. And then we just relay it back to them. We replay it back to them in the form of, hey, what I'm hearing is this. Wow, that's really interesting. Why would you say that? Or what's, is there something important, today about that? Curious questions, which we're going to have another session about curious questions, but listening. Yeah. Yep. So Sarah, would you like to start, and then I'll do triplex listening. Literally, if you just wanted to share for just a minute, and then I'll relay back to you, because I'm learning all the time too, and by the way, we're both working on mastery for sure. And then maybe we can switch roles just to give our viewers a little, there's no pressure here, of course, a little taste of how this could work for them. Yeah. We just try things out. We're just trying out. It's all a big experiment. Yeah. Good. Okay.
So I really enjoyed all the data that you're bringing to this. I'm using the words because it's right there scripted. Why not?
Thank you. Yeah.
So if I understand you correctly, what you are presenting is what you have so much passion about, to gain those communication skills for understanding and overcoming the loneliness is what I'm hearing. Is that correct?
Yeah, very good. Very good. And I really, so listening to me, I really got your intention, Sarah. I really got your care. I really, I'm now kind of stepping into being the person who was listened to, so to speak, and you were the powerful listener. I really heard that. I really heard that you heard me. And, the thing out of all of these that was most present when you were just sharing, about what I was saying is that you really got the emotions about it. You really heard, but you also got the passion around it. And you used my words, which were very powerful. So thank you. Thank you. I feel very heard. Yeah.
You're so wonderfully articulate. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. It comes from many years of talking. And not such great listening. And now I'm focusing and been focusing on listening better, being a better listener for connection. Yes. So Sarah, would you like to share something that, no pressure here, of course, is, something that's important to you now, something that's top of mind for you, something that you'd like to share for maybe about a minute, and then I'll use this triplex listening to come back to you with questions. Would that work for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Top of mind, I'd love to stay on the subject if that's okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So with the triplex listening and gaining that insight, the data from what they're speaking of when we're trying to engage, I personally have found the first part of these three the most challenging.
Ooh.
Yeah. And that's where the disconnect comes in right away. I'm very good and empathetic, understanding and emotions. No problem there. And I can feel that as well. I am empathetic. But that data part, if it's not closely observed, it'll fly past me. I will not connect always. So I have to very intentionally listen.
Yeah. Wow. Really great. So what I heard, and I just want to check in with you on this, Sarah, because I'm telling you, we're in a conversation. We're not in a dialogue. We're in a conversation here. Is what I heard you say is that the data, the specifics, the facts, kind of that part of it is something that you have a commitment to focus on in conversations, powerful conversations with others, because it's very easy. What I heard you say too is that it's easier for you, and maybe your natural way is to be feeling and getting the emotion and the passion and all of the commitment of the other person. Like that comes easy to you, but focusing in on kind of the data points and maybe some of the specifics, you're concerned that it could fly by you, and you don't want that to happen because you really have a commitment to connecting with other people. Did I get you correctly?
You got me 100% correctly. And
Excellent.
I would have to back that with mostly in writing, actually.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, mostly in writing, especially.
Yeah. Absolutely. So, what you're bringing up, Sarah, thank you. Love it.
Welcome.
Excellent. A little role playing here, and, for those of our brothers and sisters watching the broadcast, take this as a model and practice this with someone else. Take it on as like, hey, I'd like to increase and improve my communication and my listening skills. So let's do this little experiment and this little, coaching scenario, so to speak, with someone else. And, the best thing is to try this on, not to let clients necessarily know that, hello, I'm using a script because I want to be a better listener. And so I'm trying out these 3 different areas. Just try them on. And what I noticed too, Sarah, is that for me, we are alike in that, the data, the facts, the specific information, I have a habit of kind of letting it go by too, to try to get to the heart of what they're really saying. But for some people, the data, the facts, the information, those specifics are really critical. And I'm not connecting with them if I don't get the whole part of what they're saying. And so, and I think what has also happened in the past for me is they may have left conversations not feeling completely heard because I didn't get all of what they were saying. So, these 3 parts, the triplex listening for the data, the facts, listening for the emotions and the feelings, maybe even underneath what they're saying. And then, of course, what's important to them, to really relay that back and make sure that they feel understood and heard and connected with you on this. So it's just practice, and it could be like for today's conversations, I'm going to focus on really hearing the data points more, or maybe, since the emotions and the feelings come more easily to us, we could put that kind of aside a little bit to focus in on maybe what they're not saying. What's the emotion under the emotion? Yes. Sarah, thoughts about any of this before we move forward?
Yeah,
I really got this.
no, we got this one. I'm paying really close attention to what you're saying, because guess what came to mind first?
Yes.
The emotion that was coming through from you.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yes.
Exactly. So, putting that aside is an intentional act that needs to be controlled. Because the first thing I saw was you have the same frustration, the emotion of frustration of not connecting
Yes.
when we don't receive all the data by someone that's communicating to us. So same thing.
Yes.
Did I get that correct for you?
Yeah, you absolutely did.
Okay.
You absolutely did. Yes. So thank you. So as we complete our time together, we packed so much into our 27 minutes. Oh my gosh. And the number 27, as you know, is all about new beginnings and new opportunities. So Sarah, curious from today, what's your one big takeaway? And of course, what will you do to really practice this?
My big takeaway is, again, to remind myself with some form of a regular reminder to pay closer attention to the data that's coming in from communication.
Absolutely.
Learn a little bit more about that in writing form as well.
Great.
So it's not misinterpreted. And the big treasure is to communicate that I'm intentionally practicing this with the people I speak with, so that we can have that dialogue together right from the beginning.
Gold there, people. Gold, gold, gold. Thank you, Sarah. Really great. And you know what I also find is like a tactical thing is I put a little sticky note on my computer just to remind me is focus on the facts, focus on the data, thinking, hearing and confirming what I think I hear or what I've heard from them around this, whatever area of the three, the data, the emotions, and what's important to them. So very, very nice. So thank you, power packed. And, always we're focused on what are you going to do today? What's the next step? How will you use this? And continue tomorrow on our day 4 of day 12 days, 27 minutes a day. Tomorrow, we're expanding into your visionary thought leadership. How can you take what you're passionate about, what you're committed to, your knowledge, your experience, and turn it into thought leadership that monetizes? So with that, thank you very much. We'd love to have you join us in the C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. We'd love to do that and schedule a short 15, 20-minute conversation with me over Calendly. I'm easy to find. Kathleen Caldwell, all one word, on Calendly. And let's schedule a time to talk and connect. And let's find out what's important to you in your career, in your business, and how we can promote you, showcase you, highlight you, and elevate you in the world. Thanks for now. Thanks for everything. Loved our time together. Sarah, you're the best. Love it.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Thanks.
See you tomorrow, day 5. Amazing. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.